Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga kabansa. Kayo po ay nasa Iparas kay Paras. At ito inyong lingkod Ado Paglinaw na nagbubungad ng pagbati para sa ating sekretary.
Mga kababayan, unang-una ang aking kaibigan, paring Ado, magandang araw sa iyo.
Magandang araw din.
Magandang araw naman po muli sa mga ating multitude of Filipinos suffering under this administration of Marcos Jr. Mga kababayan, ang center of attraction ngayon, hindi lamang itong statement ni Marcos na makipag-reconcile, kundi mayroon pa talaga siyang integrity or intent to really offer reconciliation. Because as it is right now, according to a report nasa House of Representatives na during the time of presentation in Malacanang, si John Vic Rimulya, sinasabi niya na ang cost daw ng magiging bahid or magiging rason or dahilan na matalo ay yung corruption ng House of Representatives under the leadership of Speaker Martin Romualdez. Sinabi ni John Vic yan, pero eventually dininay ng Malacanang. Pero that was supposed to be a report coming from the office of Bersamin.
Yeah.
Oh, did you remember that?
An official memorandum na pinadaan pa sa appointment secretary.
Oo, dinaan pa. And
may selyo ng Malacanang.
May selyo, pero dininay nila. Siguro, nagalit siguro si Speaker Romualdez na nilait siya ni John Vic Rimulya. Pero ngayon, yun ang nagiging center of attraction na kung makipag-reconcile si Marcos at mag-demand ang mga Duterte na okay, willing kami mag-reconcile. Pero willing ka rin ba na ang una naming hilingin ay palitan yung Speaker of the House?
Ang una naming hilingin ay ulo ni Martin Romualdez.
So, anyway, with due respect, alam mo naman, napakalapit ko dyan kay Speaker Martin. In fact, I tried to avoid really having to say anything against him because it pains me, because we've really been very good friends and we've been fraternity brothers. But there is always a limit to what you can do to defend a friend. Pero kung it has going to a point that he becomes a sore thumb already and will render this government inutil, lalo na napakababa ng kanyang survey, siguro we will come up with certain options, criticism para sa taong bayan. So, dito sa interview ni Toby Chanco, sinasabi ni Toby Chanco na ang cost ng downfall or the defeat of the 7 members of the Alyansang Bagoong ng Pilipinas candidates ay ang pagtulak ng impeachment. At dito sinasabi niya na kung siya ay hikayatin na patakbuhin ng Pangulo for Speaker, siya kay Pangulong Marcos na yan. O kung siyang ipalit kay Romualdez, he will abide by the decision of the President. O ito, pakinggan natin. Mukhang sinasabi ng mga iba, yung busog na, nakatanggap na, kasi alam mo, the usual kasi, right after election of Congress, yung humihirit na tumakbong speaker, may mga envelope na yan binibigay pare as early as, I've been through that since the time of Manny Villar, the time of De Venecia. Positioning na yan And talagang meeting na yan. Meeting na yan.
Focus.
So, syempre, gumalaw na kasi he has the resources He has the minions to go around. Yung mga baguhang bagitong congressman na nanalo. So, sinasabi nila na wala na. It's all, kung sa kuwan pa yan, kung sa parking pa yan, full na daw. Pero sa sinasabi ni Toby Chanco, mukhang hindi pa full kasi wala pang desisyon ng Pangulo. Remember, any speaker can only be speaker if there is a basbas from the president. In the history, does not have been changed. That has not been changed, should I say. So ito, pakinggan natin si Toby Chanco.
Pero sir, it sounds almost as if the president is so passive. Kasi typically, the president would have a supermajority in Congress, not the other way around. Na a supermajority has a president in Malacanang. Di ba? Usually ganun yung dynamics yun eh. So it almost sounds as if the president is not on top of things and that he's just being pulled and pushed around.
The president is on top of things, but alam mo naman yung presidente natin, napakabait, pasensyoso. Some people take advantage of his goodness and kindness. You know, he's a very gentle creature, di ba?
So when you say that they used up his political capital,
it's his gentleness, his kindness.
So sir, when you say they used up the president's political capital, the natural next question there is, why didn't he do something about it? Right? Why didn't the people around him do something about it if they can already see this is going on?
It is a supermajority to begin with anyway.
Yan ang ginawa niya, di ba? Hanggang ngayon, hindi naman pa rin-release yung insertion, yung conditional, yung congressional insertion eh. Okay, out of the 209 billion na inserted by the House, ang nare-release lang is over 100 million. So may 90 billion pa doon na nakahold. So he exercised his executive power. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin. Hindi lang namin ito sinasabi, di ba? People think na pinalusot lang niya yung budget. He did not. So ngayon ko lang ito sinasabi kasi tapos na yung eleksyon, hindi ko naman po pwede ito sabihin na nandun pa yung eleksyon. No? But I have to do this because I have to protect the president. No, he's being blamed for things na hindi naman niya kasalanan. He's paying for things na hindi naman niya ginawa.
But on the downside, sir, you understand that this will also make him look like he does not have control over the whole system, the whole machinery.
No, that's why I'm speaking out now because no one is speaking out. You know, we were put in a situation, nalagay kami sa sitwasyon na eleksyon eh, di ba? Hindi naman po pwedeng palabasin. O, paano ko naman, kayo na lang magsabi sa akin, nagpa-interview ako sa inyo during election period. Pwede ko ba sabihin itong mga bagay na to? Masabihin na hindi release yung mga pondo para lang patunayan na talagang ano. Siyempre, there are things that we have to finish first. Pagtapos mga bagay na yan, now I have to protect him. I have to say that hindi niya talaga pinayagan. So now it's very clear he was unhappy about the budget and he is doing something about it. Hindi totoo yung sinasabing pinalusot niya. Hindi niya pinalusot.
Sir, during that time, were you in touch with Speaker Martin Romualdez nung panong ito'y nagkakagulo at nag-uunahan kung sinong prepresyo kanino? I mean, well, let me boil it down to this. Is the Speaker the one who was in charge of all of this?
And who is the leader of the House, di ba? Yung mga, tsaka yung nakapaligid sa kanya kasi sila yung kumakausap sa akin, sinasabi sa akin, kailangan to release, kailangan ganito, ganyan. Eh, hindi naman ako pumapayag.
Alam mo, mahaba yung interview. Pero, to summarize, talagang binubuljak ni Toby Chanco by protecting the president, mabait daw, magayan, pero there's a villain doing everything. So it's not the president daw who is responsible, but Martin Romualdez who is the head of Congress. In fact, gusto daw iparelease ni Martin yung 192 billion, pero the president refused. He held on to the 92 billion. So in other words, umalma ang Pangulo against Martin Romualdez. Yun ang pinalalabas ni Toby Chanco.
So may lamat na ito.
May lamat na yan. So, nung tanong ni Ami Pamintuan at ni yung isang lalaki dyan, eventually, he was asked if kung siya ang piliin ni Pangulo na tumakbong Pangulong Marcos na tumakbong he was willing. Depende daw. So, yung sinasabi ngayon ng mga congressmen na wala na, ayos na, si Martin na ang hindi daw, palang sinasabi ni hindi pa totoo yan. Wala pang katuturan yan kasi hindi pa nagbabasbas si Pangulo. Alam mo, nangyari ito, mga kababayan. Ito, I'll give you a concrete example where I was in the middle of all things. Martin Romualdez, during the time of Duterte, I was present, I was with him, I was with Reggie Velasco, Congressman Pichay, doon kami sa Manila Gold. Ang dami nang bigyan ni Martin. He had the numbers. Pero hindi pa rin siya naging speaker. He had the numbers. Kung nagka-election, mananalo siya.
He also had the funds.
He had so much funds. And yet, Duterte chose Cayetano over him. So, what I'm saying is, it is also a possibility that itong act ni Marcos for reconciliation, there might be certain advisors of the president na bumulong sa kanya, boss, dapat ilay mo yung ground mo for reconciliation. Yung mga tao na aayawan ng Duterte, ay alisin mo na. And Toby seems to be favoring the Dutertes because he was saying na it is Martin Romualdez that is responsible for the defeat of the... So, talagang may possibility na lalaban ito sa speakership. Ito si Toby Chanco. Ano masabi mo yan, pare?
Well, hindi naman necessarily na para kay Duterte yun But yung mga sinasabi ni Toby Chanco is signals for good governance.
Good governance. Kung gusto ni Marcos, kasi mahal niya si Marcos, Marcos mabait, Marcos daw ganito. Kung gusto pang ma-recover ni Marcos yung political capital niya, he should kick out people who pulled Marcos down. And that is exactly why Toby Chanco is saying that the Speaker of the House was the one that is bringing Marcos down. Yeah, that is what he's saying.
In this case, level-headed ito si Toby Chanco. And he is for kindling a last chance
for
Marcos to come out and deliver something
for the people in the next 3 years. But if the speaker, according to him, is Martin Romualdez pa rin, wala nang chance si Marcos na makarecover. Yan ang sinasabi ni Chanco. So that is why, tinanong siya, willing ka ba na maging speaker? Sabi niya, well, kay Marcos yan. So, ibig sabihin, okay, kung gano'n, hindi siya palo kay Romualdez. He's not supporting Romualdez for the speakership.
In which case, tama si John Vic Remulla.
Tama si John Vic Remulla if hindi hinarang yung meeting, yung report ng meeting ng Malacanang.
And since John Vic Remulla is DILG, mukhang ito ang feedback from the bottom.
From the bottom. And alam mo, for John Vic, if ever for John Vic to say this, nagsasabi rin siya ng totoo. Alam mo si John Vic minsan, maski parte siya doon sa pagkidnap kay Duterte, pero parati siyang nagsasabi ng totoo nung itinanong siya ni Pinky Webb willingly, he told nga ito yung apat ang nagplano. Ngayon naman doon sa meeting, willingly he made a statement na it's the House which very corrupt. Ito yung makakapatalo sa kandidato. Pero tinago yung resolution na yon, yung report
citing an independent survey commissioned by the President himself dito sa paboritong pollster ni Bongbong Marcos na Tangiere na ang nagantimpalaan ang head ng Tangiere by being the ambassador to Israel. At yung nag-conduct ng survey ay anak ng ambassador.
Okay. So, pero doon sa report nga, after the meeting, yun nga yung lumabas nga yung may sinasabi si John Vic. And I would feel that John Vic has painstakingly said that. Pero he was bound to say it because that is what is, kasi mag-brad yan eh. John Vic is a fraternity brother of Martin Romualdez. Si Boying Rimulya, just like a brother to Martin Romualdez. So, it would be very painful for John Vic to say those things if ever it is true what Malacanang is reporting.
Sino ba ang ililigtas nila kung Save the King ang agenda?
Save the King.
Yung prinsipe o yung
siyempre, what Toby is saying, we save the King.
Save the King?
We save the King. Hindi pa totoo yan na ang ibabasbasa ni Marcos at the end of the day is Romualdez. Tapos, in the midst of all this, Toby Chanco and Romualdez, Inday Sara is saying na, yung kapatid ko, I'm convincing him to run. Ito, pakinggan natin itong sinasabi.
Pinsihin daw ni VP Sara ang kapatid niyang si Congressman Pulong na tumakbo bilang House Speaker. Pero ayon sa mga mambabata, silyado na ang liderato ni Speaker Martin Romualdez. Narito ang agenda report ni Zandro Ochona.
Kahit sino naman daw na House member ay pwedeng maghangad na maging Speaker o Minority Leader bagamat may kaakibat itong responsibilidad.
Our current rules, and not only current, the rules of the House, anyone can throw their hats in running for the speakership. And under our rules, the highest vote getter becomes the Speaker of the House, and the second one becomes the Minority Leader. That has been the rule ever since pumasok na Kongreso. So again, andiyan naman sa rules yun. So everybody is free to join the race for the position of the speakership. Wala namang lahat naman qualified.
I with due respect to my brother, to my very close friend, Congressman Romulo, mukhang hindi niya na-follow yung nangyayari sa Congress in terms of the election of the Speaker and the election of the minority. For the past 3 Congresses, hindi na po yan ang rule, Sir Congressman. Binago nila yung rules. In fact, in the last Congress, it's the Speaker who also chooses the Minority Floor Leader. Kasi, binago nila yung rules. Dati, nung panahon namin, panahon ni Jude Venecia, naglaban kami. Tumakbo akong Speaker, tumakbo si Escudero, tumakbo si Ronnie Zamora. Naglaban kami, kalaban namin si De Venecia. De Venecia got overwhelming votes. Tapos, tatlo kaming naglaban sa second place. Si Cheese nanalo sa akin ng 3 points. 3. Tapos natalo ko si Ronnie ng 4 points. So, si De Venecia ang Speaker, automatic naging Minority Floor Leader si Cheese because he was the second highest vote. Pero that is not prevailing anymore. In the last Congress, ang ginawa ng mga congressmen, nag-elect mo na sila ng Speaker. Okay? So, na-elect na yung Speaker. The same people na nag-elect ng Speaker also were the ones who voted for the Minority Floor Leader. Because the Minority Floor Leader did not run against the Speaker. The Speaker was running by himself. Pero yung Minority Floor Leader inelect din ng majority. Which, tapos sabi na lang nila, sino ba yung mga majority? Sino ba yung gustong mag-minority? Doon kayo. Yung mag-minority, doon kayo. Pero they were not able to elect 2 candidates. Only 1. Then, the minority was elected. So, yun na ngayon yung rules. maybe na ano lang na ano ba, na overlook lang ni Congressman Romulo. Maybe he should check the new rules. That's why Libanan, who was chosen by the Speaker to be the minority leader, siya ang naging minority leader. Di ba? So, with due respect to my good friend Nonoy, siya ang minority leader but not elected automatically as the second who won. But he was elected again in a second voting to elect the minority floor leader. So, marami nga nagsasabi na ang sistema ngayon, ang minority floor leader, yung kanyang grupo is company yun. Company yun. Yun ang sinasabi nila. So, if Pulong, kung makumbinsi ni Sara at tumakbo si Pulong, magandang mangyayari yan. Maski hindi manalo si Pulong kasi may basbas ng presidente ang mananalo, then there will be a real minority in the House. So, yun ang magiging role ni Pulong, fiscalizer. Kung tatakbo si Pulong as a candidate.
Tapos si Toby ang...
or Toby. Kung maglaban si Pulong, si Toby at saka si Martin. Pero I don't think Toby will run kung walang basbas kay Pangulo. So, it will be a battle royal between Pulong and Martin Romualdez. So, I should go along with Vice President Sara for finally convincing Pulong to run for, para magkaroon ng justice dyan sa House na ang minority floor leader is a real minority floor leader. Paring Ado. Yung hindi yung push over. Kasi alam mo, ang nangyayari ngayon, in the past, yung mga quadcom, wala nang minority Mayroong minority, pero bata ng majority. Wala nang, even in the
sa hearings.
Even in the
committee.
Call for the quorum. Hindi pwede ka mag-proceed ng hearing dyan kung walang minority member. There must be a majority and minority member. Pero tila walang, puro majority lang, walang minority ang umattend, or ang minority has also gone along with the thinking of the majority. So walang real minority in the House of Representatives. So yun po ang nangyayari. So that's a welcome move from the Vice President na yung kapatid niya, hikayatin niya na tumakbo through his hat. Whether he will win or not, dalawa lang yung kandidato, Pulong will automatically become the real minority leader of the House. Yun po ang mangyayari dyan.
Okay, ngayon, let's go to the bloodbath.
Yeah. Now, alam mo, itong mga bobo, English kasi ito Alam mo, pakinggan natin yung sinasabi ni Vice President that she will fight it out. It will be a bloodbath during the course of the hearing of the impeachment. Pakinggan natin.
I truly want a trial because I want a bloodbath talaga. They met a dead end doon sa hearings nila na nag-decide na lang sila alam nyo, ang pinaka-in-demand talaga na project ng Office of the Vice President ay yung burial and medical assistance. And tinanggal talaga nila. Tinanggal ng House of Representatives yung line item na yun. Kaya hindi talaga namin siya malagyan ng budget. So humingi kami ng pasensya doon. Pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung aming Disaster Operations Center. Tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung pagbabagong campaign natin kung saan we advocate education sa mga kabataan and we are targeting to plant 1 million trees. So nag-re-strategize kami. Sinabi ko sa kanila, since maliit na lang yung budget natin, paliitin natin yung project, bilisan natin na maabot natin yung targets natin para next year, makagawa tayo ng iba pang project. Kung makikita nyo, meron kaming mga paglipat ng offices dahil lumiit din yung budget namin para sa Arkila sa NENT. So meron kaming relaunching across the country, relaunching ng mga offices namin kasi kailangan namin lumipat sa mga maliliit na offices na mababa yung renta.
Thank you, ma'am. Very clear. Sabi ni the impeachment case will be a bloodbath. Pero alam mo, figure of speech yan, pare. You say, you don't translate that literally. Bloodbath meaning there will be a skirmish. There will be kung saan pa magkakaduguan tayo. Pero people like this stupid Lucaret in Malacanang, ini-interpret niya violent daw, there will be violence. Napaka-stupid ang bobo nito.
Si Auntie Claire.
Si Lucaret Castro. Madam Lucaret, yung bloodbath, English yan eh. Kung hindi mo naintindihan, siguro absent ka nung tinuro yan sa college mo yung word na bloodbath. It's a figure of speech na ginamit ni Ma'am Vice President, ni Inday Sara, to emphasize na it will be a serious fight. And hindi nila masasubmit yung tunay na ebidensya dahil wala naman talaga. So, mapapahiya sila dahil magkakaduguan dahil sa kahiyan ng mga prosecutors. Yun ang ibig sabihin. Pero, kung lalagyan mo ng violence, na violent daw si Sara, alam mo, napaka-bobo nyo. It was only a figure of speech. That is being spoken ordinarily by people. Pare, ano masasabi mo? Ikaw, you have a good command of English. Ano sabi dito sa Lucaret na ito?
Yung sinabi mong bobo si Auntie Claire, hindi figure of speech yun.
That's a literal statement.
Parang ano yun eh, with a grain of salt, ibig sabihin, hindi seryoso, mababaw.
Lahat na sasabihin ni Vice President, papatulan ka agad. Parang tutukain ka agad niya. And she'll make mountain out of molehill. Mga ganun. Wala na talaga. She's really paid for that alone.
Napaka-petty mo.
She's a rabble-rouser person in Malacanang. Tapos,
paano magre-reconcile kung may bunganga na katulad?
May bunganga na katulad yan. Hindi niya sinusundan yung Pangulo niya. Mahinaho na nga yung Pangulo. Maging reconcile, pero siya, tira pa rin ng tira. Mukhang hindi tao ni Marcos to. Tao ito ng asawa ni Marcos na galit pa rin kay Sara. Paano yan kung makipag-reconcile si Marcos? Under desire naman si Marcos dito sa asawa. So, wala rin mangyayari dyan sa offer of reconciliation.
Ano kaya ang toothpaste nito? Lagi na lang bumubula ang bunganga.
No, yung si,
si Auntie Claire.
Auntie Claire, ito. Nag-comment din kaagad si, itong makukulong uli. Itong Laila de Lima. Pakinggan natin itong Laila de Lima. Nag-comment kaagad. At wild words daw yung bloodbath. Pakinggan natin.
Hindi dapat ganun ang iniisip. Siguro ganun ang ginagawa ni VP Sara para lalo siyang, alam mo na, is trying to court She's trying to court sympathy dahil mapalapit na nga yung impeachment trial. Hindi po ganon ang impeachment proceedings. Sagrado po ang constitutional process of impeachment na dapat wala itong puwang para sa kaguluhan, para sa chaos, para sa drama, or para sa theatrics.
Binibigyan niya mo ng meaning para makapapil ka sa media. Di ba na lang asikasuhin yung pagkakulong mo uli? Ha? Alam mo, Dilima, yung ruling ng court ay talagang makukulong ka because the court has invalidated your acquittal. Yun ang pag-iisipan mo. Ha? Huwag kang magmamalaki, Dilima, na laban ka ng laban against the Vice President. Pero hindi mo inaisikaso yung pagkakulong muli. Ha? Eh yung mga kakampi mo, kung ano-anong mga opinion. Pero you should look at the decision itself with due respect. Ano bang desisyon? Ha? There was abuse of discretion amounting to lack of jurisdiction or no jurisdiction. So if a court decides a case when it has no jurisdiction, what does it mean? The decision is void. The decision to render acquittal against you or to grant acquittal against you has been nullified. So, status quo ante ang babalik. So, what does that mean? Na they will reissue a warrant of arrest for you. And this is a non-bailable offense. Di kulong ka uli, huwag kang magmamalaki. Tingnan mo yung recantation ni anong pangalan nito? Ragos. Wala pang yun Hindi man lang kinwish. Hindi man lang in-examine ng gusto if there was indeed a valid recantation. There was indeed a basis that he has ground to recant because of intimidation, under duress siya, and so on. Wala man, hindi man lang inimbestiga ng korte yan. So, the general rule is recantation is frowned upon by the court. So, for the court to just decide, acquitted ka lang kasi nag-recant siya, that's not what it should be. That's why this Court of Appeals has focused on that. Tingnan mo itong statement ni Mr. Baliroso. Sinasabi ni Baliroso na testigo din yan si Baliroso. He will not recant.
Well, ito, kasalukuyan, nagtatago pa rin, paiwas-iwas. Dahil up to now, hinahanap talaga ako ng tropa ni Senator De Lima para bumaliktad.
Na-surprise ba kayo na dalawa ng testigo laban kay Senator Loina De Lima ang nagpahayag na pag-atras sa kanilang testimonya, sir?
Actually, 3 na silang bumaliktad
Tatlo, okay yun.
3 na sila.
Ano masasabi niyo doon, sir?
Well, actually yan para sa akin kasi, at ito naman talagang katotohanan. At kahit sinong tao naman na testigo, malagay sa katayuan namin, ganun kung mahina-hina ang paninindigan mo, talaga ganun mangyayari na atras ka. Paano yan kasi? Pinabayaan kasi sila ng pinabayaan kami ng Department of Justice na ang pangako sa amin noon before kami magtestigo kami susuportahan, isisecure nila yung safety namin including our family, at kung ano yung kahilingan pa namin para sa kaligtasan namin kanilang ibibigay ito kaagad. Pero so far magsi 6 years na kaming mga nagtitiis. Nising ko, wala naman sila na itutulong sa amin. Lumapit na rin ako sa Department of Justice para humingi ng tulong. Ang problema, tinalikuran din nila ako. Wala, kumbaga sa hindi sila makakatulong sa aming mga testigo. Contrary, yung nasa batas na dapat ang isang testigo ay sinusuportahan ng gobyerno. Isisecure ka, including your family. Ang kaso, after na na-utilize kaming as witness, pinabayaan na kami. And aside from that, sila pa ang nagagalit pa sila sa amin. Marami pa silang nasasabi sa amin mga testigo. Saan mo dadalhin ng mga testigo pag ganyan? At this is a bad precedence. Sino pa magtitistigo in favor of the government kung ganito ang gagawin palagi ng Department of Justice?
Ano yung nararamdaman mo ngayon? Gusto mo na rin bumaliktad? Itigil na pagtestigo mo? Paano ba, sir?
Ako, kahit anong mangyari, hindi ako babaliktad. Kasi, ang paninindigan ko, kahit man hindi ako sinuportahan, hindi nila ako sinecure, kung ano yung nasabi ko, na-testify ko sa korte, yun ang paninindigan ko, kahit anong mangyari, tatayuan ko yan.
Palagay niyo, sir, saan papunta ang kaso ni Senator Laila de Lima ngayon?
Well, kung tuloy-tuloy ang paglilitis, palagay ko naman magkakaroon ng conviction. Saka isa pa, sana naman wag nang madagdagan yung mga witnesses na na umuurong, kasi the more na nadadagdagan yung mga witnesses na umuurong, humihina lalo ang kaso. So nakakapanghinayang kasi 6 years na kami nagtitiis
Sa pagpapalit ng administrasyon, sir, palagay mo ba ay makakalaya na rin si Senator Laila de Lima or mababaliwala na rin yung mga pinaghirapan?
Sa tingin ko naman, dahil drug cases yan hindi mapapalaya. Sa tingin ko, hindi mapapalaya. Huwag lang uurong ang mga testigo.
Marami pong humihiling sa international community na palayain na po.
Well, kasi hinihiling nila kasi hindi nila alam yung gravity ng offense committed nung ni Senator de Lima. Hindi nila alam Saka isa pa, marami rin nagbabas sa aming mga testigo. Sabi nila walang ebidensya. Paano nila sabing walang ebidensya? Kami nga ang nakakita, kami mismong testigo. Wala naman sila noon doon, yung mga nagbabas. During the time na gumagawa sila ng krimen. Kami ang nakakita, nakawitness. Kaya alam namin kung gaano kabigat ang ebidensya laban kay Senator de Lima.
Ngayon, sir, nagbaliktad na ngayon tatlo Kamo. Paano yun, sir? Paano yun mangyayari yung bigat ng mga ebidensya ninyo?
Well, tatlo, naman yan mayroon pa naman natitirang 2 kaso sa tingin ko naman, hindi masyadong nakakaapekto yung pagbaliktad ng 3 testigo.
So, de Lima, ikaw, kung nakikinig ka, nagpapabeauty ngayon, de Lima, kung nakikinig ka, sinasabi ni Colonel Valeroso na wala kang karapatan na lumaya. Kasi, napakabigat ang ebidensya sa iyo na talagang involved ka sa drug trafficking. Kaya huwag kang magmamalaki, titirahin mo si Inday Sara, titirahin mo yung mga kakampi, pero hindi mo iniisip yung sarili mo ay napakadumi sa loob. Tinatago mo yung involvement mo sa drugs. Yan sinasabi ni Colonel Valeroso, who was a witness and hindi dapat uurong. So, sabi niya, dahil nga sa kondisyon nila, pinabayaan sila, marami na nagbenta na lang ng sarili nila. Binenta nila yung kanilang testimony. Maski totoo yung sinasabi, pero dahil sa hirap ng buhay, dahil napabayaan sila under the Witness Protection Program, they have to succumb to the offer. At maraming beses siya inoopera ni de Lima. Sinabi ni hinahanap-hanap siya ni de Lima para opera ng pera. So, totoo yan na yung mga nag-recount ay talagang binibili mo, de Lima. Including itong si Ragos. Kaso, yung korte hindi ginawa yung kanyang trabaho na talagang dikdikin si Ragos kung may basihan ba yung pag-recount niya. At tingnan mo, hindi lang masamang tao ka, de Lima, as alleged in the offenses, pati mga ano mo pa. Tingnan mo ito. Nagpinapag-away mo yung mga people around you na mga lalaki, malalaking katawan. Ito. Tingnan mo, pakinggan mo ito. Kung di ka ba mahihiya nito na pinatulan daw ni de Lima itong lalaki nito.
Okay. Yung sinasabi ni Sebastian, ano ba ang tawagan niyo yung Secretary de Lima? Anong tawag sa iyo?
Junel, sir.
Junel?
Yes, sir.
Yung palayaw mo, hindi na tinatawag sa'yo? Anong palayaw mo?
Sa bahay namin, sir.
Hindi, kay Secretary de Lima.
Junel lang, sir. Junel.
Kunwari, tawagin kayo yung Secretary de Lima, sabi niya, Junel, hoy. Ganon?
Hindi, sir.
Ano?
Junel.
Junel.
Junel! Di ka ba nahiya niyan, de Lima?
Junel!
Ha? Tumakbo ka pang congressman, tapos Junel. Nakakaya naman yata yan. Pero sa bagay, dalaga naman ito si de Lima. So she can have as many men as she can. Because she's separated from her husband who was fatso person. Medyo mataba na lalaki. Nakasalamuha din namin yan ni Attorney Villamor before. At ginagawa yung restaurant namin na parang kanilang lungga. Pupunta pa si de Lima doon. Parang queen. Pagdating ni de Lima, parang queen siya doon sa restaurant na amin doon sa Metro. Andun yung kanyang former husband, si Bohol.
Nagkabuhol-buhol tuloy.
Nagkabuhol-buhol tuloy. At Junel, di ka ba nahiya niyan? Pinagtatawanan ka ng mga taong bayan dahil yung guard mo ay nagtatawagan kayo. Siguro, sabi ni Juan de Lima, Junel, sabi naman ni Junel, Layla.
Pero alam mo, Secretary, pagka ganito kabigat ang indictment, both legally and morally, kung ako yan, lalaylo na lang muna ako. Asikasuhin ko yung kaso.
Nagpapasikat pa.
Hindi na ako papapil.
Nagkikipaglaban pa. Instead na asikasuhin mo. Asikasuhin mo yung motion for reconsideration mo or
non-bailable
kasi paano yan certiorari it's a question of grave abuse of discretion hindi naman yan.
So malamang
kaya walang double jeopardy yan because the decision to acquit her was vacated by the court. So, ibig sabihin,
makaka-retrial.
Kung maging final yung desisyon ng Court of Appeals, because she has due process. She can file an MR or she can go directly to the Supreme Court to question the decision of the Court of Appeals.
Pero malabo.
But in the meantime, dapat, since the decision ay status quo ante, dapat the court shall issue a warrant of arrest. O dapat makulong ka uli, de Lima. Baka papatay-patay yung Court of Appeals, hindi pina-reissue yung decision sa court to arrest de Lima. Dapat huwag yung pakalat-kalat at magkakalat ng lagim itong de Lima na ito, mga kababayan. So yun po, kinikriticize mo si Ginang Sara, at least yun, hindi namang convicted of a crime. Ikaw convicted ka ni. Tapos binakate pa yung acquittal case mo. So, you have to be in jail right now, Madam de Lima. So, goodbye, de Lima. I am Junel. Goodbye.
Huwag kalimutan mag-subscribe dito sa Iparas kay Paras at i-click ang notification bell.
Magandang hapon po, mga kababayan.